You are tuned in to What Up Baltimore online radio. Please note that the views and opinions expressed on this channel are of the host and not of Lady J Media. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, What Up Baltimore TV. And if you really don't want to miss any of the shows, hit that notification bell and you'll get a message every time we come on. Now, we got it from here, so sit back, relax, and stay tuned.
And life situations will happen where God will call you to try to learn from that manual, depending upon who you are, if you're his or not.
Right.
Things will happen to you that are going to shake your core, because my head's been opened up, and the only way it's going to get that way, the only way you're going to understand about why you pray and then go do something, is not to just go to the church like the club to see who got the new car and who got the new clothes. But I don't know how a person could be here this long and not ask yourself, where do we come from? Hey, what's good? What's good? Good evening. Thank you for joining me on Empathic Perspectives, Pathways to Change. I'm your host, Chad. We got Jamal up in the house, and we got Rev 7 in the house up in Philly. We got Florida. We got the East Coast represented very well. Look, tonight I'm off topic because usually on this show, what we do is I might garner a topic and smash it down. I might, thank you, baby. I might take depression or PTSD or whatever and chop it up. So, you know, I'm trying to get away from that format. Not as much, you know, not to say I won't do it, but I like having to just come on here and just talk versus going off the script. The script is fun and it's easier, but I got things to say. You know, one of the seeds God planted for me was the dude up in Park Heights. What's his name? George. I can never think of the dude's name, but it was, what's his name, Jamal? You muted. Take yourself off mute.
George Mitchell.
That's right. George Mitchell, right? I go up in there and I'm watching this man talking. He's talking to Park Heights. He's talking to Baltimore. He's talking to everybody. That was a seed that was planted, and that's what this is becoming. Getting on there with a script was safe, but, you know, that's not really me. It's me, but I'm better when I'm just talking to my people. I'm talking to my friends. This is a personal conversation. I'm going to open this floor up, and then y'all can talk about whatever you want. Look. In order to be forgiven, you got to forgive people. You got to let stuff go. Everybody on this planet ain't going to get out through here without a horror story or 5 or 7 or 10. I got my own horror story. Molestation is bad. Rape is bad. Houses burning down is bad. Third-degree burns are bad. Car accidents are bad. Motorcycle wrecks are horrible. Things are going to happen to us to shake us to our core, to find out who we are, so that when we look in that mirror, it's easier to recognize flaws. And I have to recognize my flaws because me, as a person who is, you would consider a Christian who believes in Jesus Christ, who has looked other places. If you look at some of the older shows, you'll hear me talk about the Metal Netter, because I'm sitting there investigating, right? Not necessarily totally parting companies, but I'm looking in other directions, right? As far as this piece that we call religion. So, coming back to Christ and understanding the principle of forgiveness, I can't hold something against somebody, even though they did it. The rape happened, the murder happened, the shooting, the drowning happened. In order to be in Christ's realm or his heights of understanding, I got to let that go so that I can be forgiven for stuff I've done. And it's like a It's like your trial of fire. Some people break, some people snap, some people. This is, the reason that suicide hotline number is down at the bottom. That number is 1-800-273-8255. Is sometimes stuff will happen. Guilt can happen. Something will happen to you so bad that, you just ready to end it. I've been there, done that, and it didn't work, thank God, because I gave up on the hope at that time that my life would be what it is now, which is, for me, if I live like this another 1,000 years, the money don't change, the bills don't change, the food don't change, I'm happy. So heaven on earth is obtainable if you're willing to be forgiven for what you've done and forgive people for whatever they did to you. It's like saying I have to raise my consciousness to a higher state where if somebody slaps me on the left cheek and the right cheek, instead of doing what I want to do, I got to turn from that because I'm raised to a higher standard. Revengeance is mine, saith the Lord. I give it to God now. I let God work through those folks that hurt me or did things to me. At the same time, I've done horrible things to people. And I got to recognize that. The person who's walking around here thinking that they spotless is a liar, and I don't want nothing to do with you. With that said, situations will come to me, have came to me, recently have come to me, where I'm not judging Joy, but with my understanding of God, if the manual says XYZ, I believe in XYZ. You feel me? So don't try to finagle to figure out if I'm going to side with you or God. There is no comparison. There's no questions with it. I'm not perfect. It's stuff I needed to learn. I can't just make a snap judgment. Maybe it's something out there that I don't know. Maybe I didn't read it yet. Maybe it's an awareness other people have, I don't. So I don't turn against, because if God turned against and didn't forgive me, I'm already in hell. And how I'm living in this house this second, I'm in heaven here. It's possible by changing your mind. Not the money, not the cars, not the clothes, not the women, none of that. Wonderful life, wonderful wife. If everything blew up tonight, I can't go back to where I was. In other words, I have adopted the attitude of, instead of carrying pain around indefinitely, putting a jacket and a skirt and a pocketbook on my pain so that my pain can walk right beside me wherever I go, I had to put that ass on a bus and tell you to go wherever you're going. I don't feel like dealing with you no more. I'm not saying that people can't get over things, and it's hard sometimes to get over things, but if you made your pain your friend, you have been defeated already, because it'll take you longer. I'm talking to a person, I stayed floundering for like 3-4 years behind a divorce, right? That for all intents and purposes, if I had sense, I'd have got it 10 years ago, 10 years prior to when I did. But I had to go through that to help self-analyze my role in it, my mistakes in it, not what she did, not what she said, my role in it, my mistakes in it, my lack of judgment that put me into it in the first place. Right? That's the mind God gave me and God gave us. So the sooner I can let these things go, the better my life gets, because I don't have heart medication. I don't take high blood pressure, nothing. I don't take diabetes, nothing. You feel me? I drink water like Jamal said and try to treat myself better. But because I don't have the power to get rid of the fat, because I don't have the power to get rid of the smoking, because I don't have the power to get rid of the alcohol, I pray to the Holy Spirit that I already have in me for help, so that all I got to do is give up my will to what I want to do and do what God said. If you didn't see Pastor Charlie Jenkins' show on this platform, please check him out. And thank you, John Hainsborough, for an excellent show. I didn't get to catch it like I would like to because I got stuff and all this good stuff before we start. But John Hansborough also has a wonderful show. You got to check out everything on here. Back to the point. Mr. Jenkins led me to an understanding. Pastor Jenkins led me to an understanding, and I don't even know which show it is. They all good. You feel me? Where the bar is raised. The bar has been raised. The bar has been raised. To forgive is divine. Let's try to understand that. Man and divinity, right? You got to try to reach that level where you can take off the backpack, the boulders that you're carrying around for lack of forgiveness, in my opinion. I understand things happen randomly that you didn't ask to have happen to you. So does everybody else. People don't want to flip over in buildings, cars, and get hit with acid and all this good stuff. Everybody has a story. And I was one of those that believed that nobody in the world could possibly understand my pain because I'm such an intellect and I'm such an emotional person. Nobody could possibly understand or rationalize what I'm going through. And then I look at the person with one foot. Then I look at the little kid that ain't never going to get out of a bed, never going to go to a prom because they mentally can't function on that level. And if that doesn't work, I just got tired of dragging the baggage. I had to let it go. How did I leave it go? I prayed. I said, Lord, take this from me. I can't do this anymore. It's killing me. When one person tells me my breath stinks, maybe they just don't like me. When 2 people, 3 people tell me my breath stinks, I ate onions. When a room of people tell me it's you mean to tell me all these people that you know, trust, known all your life, they just turned on you for no reason, right? When do we come to that level of maturity that we reflect on ourselves instead of putting more goop on it so that we don't have to see ourselves? What's the goop? Okay, I might go ahead and get an S curl or dye my stuff green or purple, and I ain't got nothing against you if you do. Or I might go get some extension nails. Instead of looking at who I am without the makeup, with nothing, and then recognize I'm no different than my mother, who I was carrying a grudge for forever, thinking God is going to side with me because he knows he's seen exactly how my mother is XYZ, when I'm not understanding this woman could have threw me into a trash can at birth. I went to Disney World and all that, you feel me? But I want to hold this grudge because some things weren't right, shouldn't have been said, shouldn't have been swung, shouldn't have been hit. But I'm not dealing on earth level. I'm dealing on God's level. And if you want this, you got to let your mother off the hook. You got to let your father off the hook. You got to let your ex off the hook. Because if you can't let them off the hook, your ass will be on it. You understand? But when I put stuff on and I just choose to be ignorant. What is ignorant? And I'm going to shut up with this. Give this to my panel. Feel me? Ignorant is the act of knowing better, but ignoring it. I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm going to ignore it because, like me, when I went out there for 3 years, I said, F the world, F God, F everything I'm doing. I can't take, I'm going to just lose it because I'm already in the depression, in the hostility, in the anger. The PTSD is on full tilt boogie. I stopped caring. And what happened? My life, my world deteriorated. I'm homeless. I'm in a homeless shelter. I have, nothing going on for me. I got to be brought low so that I could start gaining. If every time you turn the door or the corner, an axe is flying your way, you might want to see if you're dressed like a tree versus they coming at me because they haters. if every time you walk down the street, dogs is hauling ass towards you to eat you, you might want to look at yourself and say, I'm wearing a SK damn outfit. I got a ham suit on. You see, when you do good, the devil comes and he tries to knock you down. The devil don't want to see you doing good. When you do bad, God comes and knocks you down. He don't want you doing bad. Well, actually, he kind of passes you over. You gave your protection up, and now you open yourself up for the devil because you're defying what your father told you. Fuck the reasoning and the rationality and the why and who else is doing it. You're not listening. You're ignoring what you know, myself included. Forgiveness is when I stop ignoring it. I stop acting like a child. And God forgive me for cursing. I'm trying to work on it. That's my stronghold. Instead of me sitting here and saying, I didn't just cuss, I acknowledge it. I don't sit here and say, well, homosexuality is fine. I acknowledge that what I'm doing is wrong and don't try to ask people to co-sign my bull. I'm not co-signing. I'm not losing my salvation for nobody, mother included. Ma, come over here. I love you. And it's from the heart because God will give you that heart to let that stuff go. That's all I had to say. So, gentlemen, what's going on in your world? What you feeling? What y'all feeling? What's good?
Mr. Philly, you want to go first because I got something for that conversation he just had.
Well, you go ahead and go then. I'm feeding off of y'all.
Okay. Well, the topic, battle rapper Shotgun Sis says in his rap, what's your life like? So let's talk about when life shows up. Then another battle rapper, you know what I'm saying? Loaded Lux says, you're going to get this work when the help needs help. So let's talk about what you're saying about forgiveness. First of all, it's a lady in California that went to the federal prison and talked to the dude that killed her son. So forgiveness is within her heart.
Yeah.
Everybody, no matter if you're in the Quran, the Bible, or the Torah, has to deal with forgiveness from their perspective. Me, I'm a Muslim. I don't practice the way I should be, but I believe for an eye and eye, a tooth for a tooth. It's African countries and Arab countries that don't have child molesters and rapists in jail. They cut their heads off. That's part of their doctrine. But they don't do that in the United States of America. Women beaters and things like that, they actually cut their heads off in 2023 because you are out of order. Now, we're going to talk about forgiveness. Debt waivers. It could go up and down. It depends on the situation. Can you put the rapist in a room with the rape victim? Can you put the ex-wife in a room with the dude that abused her or gave her a sexual disease? So when we talk about forgiveness, that's an open topic. That, as far as I'm concerned, is within the individual. I can forgive you, but fuck you at the same time. We ain't doing none of that. And I ain't perfect. And I ask God for forgiveness for my sins. But some things that people do to me, we can't come to the table. You feel me? I had situations with one of my brothers running his mouth. Now that I'm clean and I'm trying to be a better person, I'm not going to address that situation. But when I had that sauce in me, what you want to do? You compensate me. People say, y'all two can't get in the mix. It's a damn lie. You violated. It doesn't, people sit up there and say, well, y'all family. Who told you that? You are out. Flat out. We're not 5-year-old kids in the backyard playing with a ball. You're a grown man. But I let it go. I don't have no rap for that whole clown. And that's what it is. You said something and did something on Facebook and said you're going to put your hands on me. I'm waiting for that's 7 years ago. So you think we're going to be at the same cookout when you put that out there? Or, I didn't mean to say that. Oh, where I come from, you put yourself out there like that, handle that work. You put that out there to social media and had my daughters crying. I wasn't on Facebook all this social media stuff into the pandemic. I got a phone call. See what your uncle put on Facebook? I don't be on Facebook. Oh, really? You said, did you wish the other brother was dead and I was living? I was dead and our brother was living. Check this out. Before my other brother died, y'all weren't even in a relationship. So where you get these marbles in your head? And all this stuff is done on social media. Where's your location at? We could jump up in a vacant house and run that fade, as we call it in East Baltimore. All that yapping and politicking, some things can't be forgiven, as far as I'm concerned. In the world, y'all can do that hell you want to. But when we come from in that environment of indoctrination, people handle their business. You would disrespect people. You think people ain't gonna come see you? Are you serious? The Nation of Islam is in Baltimore City. You see anybody messing with them dudes? And they don't have no weapons on them. So forgiveness, as far as I'm concerned, is up to the individual.
Absolutely.
The individual. I seen a lot during Christmas. I was in Barbara's house and she invited her ex-husband in there. I ain't got no problem with him. She forgave him. That ain't none of my business. It's not my business. That's within our heart to forgive. But it probably took years to get that point. And then another thing you got to remember is this. You're really forgiving yourself.
Right.
So there's so much stuff that goes on in relationships in the world. I just said on Van Show, I was with a group of people that help youth. And the lady said, listen, let me explain something. These youths are in these centers and all that stuff like this, and they're homeless and stuff like that. 90% were raped by their family members.
Yeah.
As kids. So we can't have a conversation. And you was with me when we went to Farmer Mills and bought those clothes and socks and all that stuff for them kids and gave them coats. You remember?
Yes.
Yeah, those kids are disadvantaged youth from family members. I mean, it's touching. You got grown men having sex with their daughters. I'm not in a position to say to the girl, young lady, when she at 20, say, yo, forgive your father for what he did for you. I can't do that. But I do understand what you're saying. But the thing what it is, if people not thought about God and the church and the spirit and stuff like that, they don't know they run in their own devices. And some of these adults are dream killers for whatever reason, because they had a bad childhood at this, that, and the third. Okay, that's that part. Let's get when the help needs help. People, if you're not trying to help nobody, get out the way. Do that. So when people do certain things, like, and they ask for your assistance, or ask you to listen, or ask you to hear them, could you just shut up? Because sometimes when they need help, they just need inspiration or people to encourage them. But we so busy beating up on each other because, oh, you know, Rev up there in Philly, he's a strong person. He'll get it done. But did anybody ever ask Rev up in Philly, how do you feel spiritually, mentally, and physically? So Rev is the help. But when the help need help, the black males, thumbs down. You can't say nothing to me because I've been in so many different parts of the United States and I see it. Circle 7, 5%ers, the Masons, the dudes in the Rotary Club, all in fraternity, stuff like that. The main thing in our world, because there's not enough of us, right? In a cigar bar, smoking cigars, drinking cognac, chasing dirty women. People don't even know. Look at the Wall Street Trapper. He is on the Breakfast Club. Somebody like him that don't have no degrees. That mastered the stock market. When he was locked up, an Italian guy taught him how to do a stock market. He's giving free seminars and classes. Just like the lady said last night, why is not 1,000 of us at these college graduations? We ain't got time. So when the help, whoever the help is that's helping you, when they need help, you shut up and go help them. Oh, you know, she don't need that, or he don't need that. How do you make that assumption? People don't even call people up on the phone and say how they doing. They text them. That's so impersonal. But that's the world we live in. And a lot of times the help only needs encouragement. The help needs a conversation. People are so overtly opinionated. You know, I was just on Van's show and said, Jamal, stop. No, I'm not going to stop. You shouldn't invite me on here. I can articulate. I can read. I know how to utilize words from the English dictionary. I can go corporate. We can go corporate. We go hood. Which one do you want? It's versatile. Tell people I am a litigator, a negotiator, a union rep. I'm self-taught because I wanted more money. In 1990, John Hopkins Hospital, so I need the best job. So let me read these books to get the best job. People telling me, oh, you can't do that. I just got the military. You gonna tell me I can't be a butcher? Who's you talking to? I just was on a welding truck for 4 years. What's more brutal than that? I'm coming in. They say, well, we need a butcher's apprentice. We're gonna help you out. What? I looked on there, signed my name on it. I didn't even know what I was doing. I used to work with that man for 2 months. On my spare time, breaking the machines down, you got to gauge them, and you're doing this and stuff like that. He said, young man, you don't want to do this. Are you serious? What? He didn't know the military background, and Fred Child's on my back and my mother. They come from the country. You know what the hardest thing to do on a farm is roll watermelons and put them on a truck. Try that, all them tough guys and tough girls out there. Go to a place and put watermelons on a truck. You think you tough? Yeah, great. Right. Ain't them on farms. Now, the help needs help. Everybody needs help. Nobody don't know who they need. Let's get to the other one. But I said the help needs help. And what's your life like? So he when he comes out shotgun said, what's your life like? Nobody got a crystal ball for life. We'll go through the good, the bad, the indifferent, and ugly, drunk or sober, high or sober. It's how we deal with situations. How do we act in situations? Ongoing. The gas election is high, or you gotta go get some more money. The food is high, you gotta go get some more money. It's just that simple. Then where you gonna get the money from? I don't know. We have no control. We don't even own our own bodies. People run around like you say, oh, I got this, I got a car, I got a chain, I got this and the third. You get in a car accident and can't walk, then what you got? You don't have no crystal ball for tomorrow. You have a crystal ball for right now. I seen so many people was up that's down right now. Guess what? When you was up, who did you help? Who did you help? William went to Atlanta, Georgia, and got his son under undue stress. I was on the phone with him when he was driving the car. Now, William, can I tell him this? Can I tell him I came to Philly? I'm real in the field. So, William, I'm coming to Philly. Not just one time. When he went down to Atlanta, this so real. You know what I mean? He's driving. His son in the car. His son under due stress and a terrible situation. Jamal, I gotta get out this car. So what is going on? It was so many bed bugs in the car, the rental car. William couldn't drive the car no more. I'm not making this up. I was on the phone with him. His son's clothing and stuff was infested with bed bugs, and he had to figure it out. He loved his child. Horrible situation. People that died. All this abuse and stuff like this in the state of Georgia wasn't enough. None of that. That man went down there and handled the business real in the field. And I was on the phone with him going to Georgia and coming back from Georgia. You got to put you in a safe zone. Do people really want to hear people's stories? They really want to hear people's situations. They don't really hear what they go through. And then you come back to Philadelphia, you got to fight that VA and that racist Veterans Administration in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and go from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Let me tell you something. I went in that VA and bust out crying. I never seen that many people sick of my damn life. It was bigger than John Hopkins. Now you got, and the one in Philadelphia got a wall around it with guards. You can't walk up to the VA building. They have 15 booths for medication, 20 booths for mental health. You go to mental health on the floor there. It's crazy. 7:30 in the morning. Hundreds of veterans. And it's just one VA in Philadelphia. I'm not talking about the rest of Pennsylvania. I said, William, we got to go up in there. I'm walking with the Lord. I know what I know, and I'm apply what I know. whatever, and whatever you want to do with this one. But we don't have enough good black folks in these neighborhoods. Breonna Taylor in Louisville, Kentucky, the feds then picked up the case. She's dead. The boyfriend got shot. He's out. Man, the feds gonna pick it up because of civil rights improprieties. The woman was in the bed sleep. No knock warrant. The dude she used to mess with ain't in the house no more. Who did the surveillance? And she's dead. So they shot through the windows. They shot through the walls. They didn't even see a silhouette. They ain't see nothing. Crackers all day long. But we out here killing each other. So the family might get some money and things like this, and they put a statue of Breonna Taylor up in Louisville, Kentucky, and she worked for the state of Louisville, Kentucky. The United States Attorney for the state of Kentucky is a black guy. I can't remember his name. He said he didn't see nothing wrong. He's trying to tell me they shot through the windows outside where the cars was parked at?
Right. He said he didn't see nothing wrong.
The situation is this. When life shows up, a lot of us are not mentally, spiritually, and physically prepared for this new world order, which is all about money. The United States Treasury Department, not the Treasury Department, I'll tell you the department what it is, right? Everything is, like Chad said, sheep. We sheep. You got white folks out here mad at black folks and never even talk to one for real. Because somebody don't like black people, and then black people looking at other people, and Chinese people and stuff like this, just like this beef with China Mac and Charleston White. Charleston White got on social media and said some horrific things about Oriental people.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
It's time coming, buddy. It's coming. It's coming. And we ain't got to talk about that. When you put that out there like that about people, God's people, and these people coming back and forth, that's right. You give it a hand call for Slick. Tekashi 6ix9ine just got his hind parts whipped yesterday in LA. They got to him.
Who that?
Tekashi 6ix9ine.
They got to him in LA, them gang members. Yeah, and beat the brakes off him. Because guess what? You put that negative energy out there. What you think of him? It don't matter how much money you got on board. They out there. Them wolves are out there and they lurking. Yesterday on a show, they was like, the guns. Can we have this conversation, sir? These kids are getting ghost guns. These kids are not breaking in people's houses, not breaking in stores. They're getting the guns online. They're getting the bullets online. They're putting that stuff together and they strap up. Not just black, Hispanic, and white. They got them straps. Where are they getting the guns from? But this is not 1980. It's 2023. This right here. This is dangerous. It's a thing on there, right? Where the pedophiles are going on social media and on YouTube and all this Disney stuff and cloning what these children look at it, and sex stuff is popping up.
I was sitting there watching Corey Holcomb last night, right?
Right.
And he brought to attention this topic where a gay couple, a male gay couple, had adopted a child, and they were raping the child, as well as basically prostituting the child out to other pedophiles. And it went in line with what you just something you just said right there a second ago.
I'm going to send it to you. The pedophiles across the United States are cloning kids shows, kids movies, kids apparatuses, and your kids sitting there playing, right? The next thing they see a big dingaling or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm going to send that to you.
Yeah.
You think the FBI, the DA, and the federal government don't know about that stuff? The black web and all that stuff like that? Right. So what is our children exposed to? But let's get back to when life shows up. All of us, no matter who you are going to go through the good, the bad, the ugly, and different in your life. And I just made that up a couple of years ago. Like, it's a mixture. You got, we'll look at the guy on Ellen just killed himself. He had it all.
Allegedly. Everything allegedly. Mm-hmm.
Man, the man did not live in South Philly. Okay, he lived in Hollywood Hills. You got paid to be over there, buddy. And then his best friend is a multi-millionaire, so he has so many problems. Why don't you call up Ellen? You put that clicker to your head for some personal shit. Who knows? I don't know. It's sad that you left your wife and kids, but we got to be a little bit stronger, don't we? Should we try to be a little bit stronger?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's
Absolutely.
perfect. But people, when they need help, and what life shows up, that's all I find out. People breaking people's anonymity. People need people to talk to and stop being opinionated when they talking to you. That's why that lady up in New York jumped off that building 60 stories. She's trying to talk to everybody and say, look, I know I won a pageant. I know I won a show. I know I'm Miss Universe this, that, and third. I'm rich. I live in a condo. I got a business. I'm a lawyer. She still jumped off the 60 floor. She was trying to reach other people to talk, and we don't have time. We don't have time to talk to people like William. I didn't talk to William. I came to Philly. Listen, it was cold outside, but it was cool.
Yeah.
Some people can't travel to different parts of the United States, but God dang.
It's a passage somewhere in the Bible that says something to the effect of love covers many sins. Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Love covers many sins. When you do acts of love, it starts, for me, it starts with that forgiveness. Because it's hard to give yourself to Christ or anything, a relationship, anything, if you haven't worked or dealt with forgiveness, because you'll just stay a selfish person. You could potentially stay a selfish person right into the grave. You feel me? But forgiveness is the act, in my opinion, of becoming selfless. Instead of me worrying, because I'm out there saying, Mob Jamal, you step on my toes, I'm smashing your foot with a sledgehammer. I'm out that mob, right? But because I want something higher, to forgive is divine. I want that
both.
charge. What's that? It's like, it's the same as me, like being up on here talking about God, but I get off here and act a fool.
It's gonna go to the holy city of Mecca and piss on that ground out there, and the Muslims ain't gonna whip his ass. It ain't happening. You're not gonna desecrate that. So you can have both. Because if you think you're gonna go to the holy city of Mecca and say, I don't like none of this, and pull out and say urinate on that, you won't make it out of there.
I'm talking about forgiveness. That's just craziness. Right.
What part of forgiveness is ours? So it's for the individual, just like the dude was on the show.
Right.
His mother had his brother raped.
I agree with you.
Her.
It's definitely individual. However, with the comparison of the Muslim tradition versus the Christian tradition, I don't know that much about the Muslim tradition, but I do understand it's a polar opposite as far as that eye for eye versus turn the other cheek. So for me, it's
stoning people over there, man.
Right. But that depends on, who they living for.
It don't matter who they living for. The point of the matter, that's in their doctrine. We are so, in this country, saying, you know what? I forgive you, and he still cut your throat. I forgive you, and he still steal from you. I forgive you, and he still break in your damn house. This is where we at. So if we so forgiving, let me take this front door off, put it in the back, take the back door off, put it in it, and just go to sleep and have no door. That's why we got doors to protect ourselves.
In a perspective, from the Christian perspective, the being that was part man and part God, that didn't need, the one being Jesus, that did not need to be forgiven. Jesus didn't need to be forgiven because he didn't do anything. The one innocent, perfect lamb took the shot for me and everybody else that wasn't his shot. He died for stuff Chad did. He died for stuff everybody else did. So the spinoff from that is, since I took this hit for you, I took the charge for you, what I want you to do is let everybody off the hook. I died for you. I want you to do this for me. Jesus gives us examples through his life. he fasts for 40 days, 40 nights. That's like saying, don't let your body control you. Don't let become in control of your flesh, right? He was tempted by Satan. Look, I'll give you this, I'll give you that, I'll give you all this land. You see, as far as you can see, Jesus shows us examples where he didn't fold when, in other words, when he took that shot in his side, he says it. I could call a legion of angels down here at any time and wipe the planet out. He had that power to call angels down to fight for him. He chose to take the hit. So that's why I'm on a Christian aspect, forgiveness is paramount. Because if I can forgive, I'll be forgiven. If I hold on to this stuff with my mother and leave here with that, I'm done. Oh, Chad, you did this. But I had a talk show and I mentioned the name once or twice. No, that's not going to wash.
Hey,
that's not going to wash.
That's good to know that. But if I hold on to this stuff with my brother, what difference is it going to make? You made it.
You can make room for yourself to have something more.
I don't need nobody to tell me how to carry myself, especially when you jump out there on me.
Right.
Because
I'm not trying to tell you how to do it.
I'm not saying you. We ain't been to a cookout yet. So since you got so much testosterone fortitude to say that you're gonna put your hands on somebody, where you at? Meet me one-on-one and let's do what we do. We can talk, we can roll on the grass, but you're a coward. You put that on heat. You see, there you go with this one. So forgiveness is mine. But what I need to know is, are you really intending on putting your hands on me? So we can't be in the same place because it's going to be a ghetto mess.
I get what you're saying.
You put that out, sir. Yeah. Where I come from, when you threaten people, you need to back that up or fall back or apologize or do something. Because, I
make a statement.
I'm hood. I'm this, that, and the third. The bottom line is, we ain't been in the same space since my brother died and you didn't come through the funeral.
I'm going to shut up and I'm going to give you the floor, Red.
What you keep on saying about forgiveness, it's up for me to forgive him.
I'm going to give you the floor, Red. But
I have forgave a part because I don't drink and I didn't approach him. I'm confrontational. I'm one of the people, I don't do all that politicking. I got a problem. I'm going to come see you.
To put this in context, right?
And I believe like that. I haven't done it in 10 years. So when you say forgiveness, as far as I'm concerned, is for the individual. That's situation. So we can't go biblical, but at the end of the day, it's up to the individual.
Yeah, you said that for about 4 times now. I heard you and I understand what you're saying, and I even agreed with you the first time you said it, meaning that depending upon where you're shooting from, depending upon what your modus of religion is, eye for eyes is perfectly legal and fine. Even as a Christian, I can't tell you what I'm going to do if somebody jumps out on me, especially my wife. Forget it. My kids, it's a wrap. It almost always happened a couple of weeks ago. My belief is the closer I walk with the Lord, the less I have to worry about those situations arising. God will diffuse them before I'll even get there. In other words, I've mentioned this before. Some people, you talk to them, every time you talk to them, the building's on fire. The building's on fire. I'm not saying that the devil doesn't come for me, but I can recognize when he's coming for me and move to the left, move to the right, because I'm letting that passion for, to exact revenge go. I'll sit there and take what would be considered an L because my penis and my pride ain't on my sleeve no more. I'm working for something higher. Matter of fact, with that, instead of me putting my hands on you, I'll sit there and I say, okay, I'm going to give you to God. And I've watched this happen too many times. Anytime somebody plays with me, God, and I say, look, I'm not dealing with it, Lord. You know me, I'm going to jail. So you said vengeance is yours. Whenever I see these people again or talk to these people again, it's God has exacted that revenge for me. You feel me?
You ever heard when a stranger calls?
What's that?
You ever heard when a stranger calls?
All I can tell you is where I'm standing at right now. No.
When a stranger calls.
No.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of strangers out there, okay? And they be called.
Where I'm standing at now, I don't like the laws of attraction is all taken from the Bible. So that guy who wrote the book or that girl who wrote the book, you can trash it. It's not like you bringing me anything. Wow, laws of attraction. Please read this. Look, that's in the Bible. When I stop living into that lifestyle, I stop attracting that negative energy.
That's not
So that
true.
it is true. And matter of fact, you can't tell me it's not true because you're not walking how I'm walking. What I'm trying to tell you is when you call Chad, ain't nothing on fire. The biggest fire is what park we going to or what we going to ready to go enjoy. Because I stepped out of that lane. I stopped attracting that energy.
Nobody has a crystal ball for life.
No, I can't tell you what's going to happen. Like I said a few seconds ago, I couldn't tell you what happened. If I go out tonight and somebody jumps off at me, I can't tell you what's going to happen. I just left the playground. Somebody brought their dog on the playground. The knife comes out. Okay, that immediately because I feel that dog is not getting to my kid. And this is a public service announcement for all of those that have your wonderful and lovely pets. When you take them to the park and you bring them around this nigga's kid, your dog is in danger and you're in danger. Because when I get done with the dog, I'm coming for you.
Where is Red?
Do you understand? And that's the fight that I have. But because I'm with God, it doesn't come. Don't bring your 8-foot dog to the kids' playground. You are in danger. Your dog's going to last about 5 seconds. What did Jamal tell me to do? Jamal, what did you tell me to put my finger if a dog attacks me?
You really want to have that conversation?
Yo, some people need to know this.
What did I tell you?
Stick your finger in that dog's ass, and he going to let you go and then tear his ass limb from limb.
You got to hit him in their rectums.
Just like a person, just like a ball punch.
On that note,
you don't want to
get
hear
ready
that.
for this.
If
For that note, on that note,
if a
hot
dog
off
is
the
biting
news.
on your keys, if a dog is biting on your kids, you take your keys and insert it in their rectum, and they will release. Okay.
Yeah.
They can't fight that. I just
right.
Self-defense. It's self-defense. Okay.
Yeah. Don't bring that damn wolf to the kids' playground. I don't care how friendly he is with you.
Mr. Philly, what's going on, Mr. Philly? We got Mr. Philly over here.
Listen, Mr. Philly.
We need a cheesesteak when we come up there, okay?
I got you covered. The best cheesesteak on the planet. I had there was a guy, a young fella who worked for me. He beat me like multiple times. I keep turning the other cheek. You hit on a lot of different subjects. I'm a contractor. I do all different contract work, and I give everybody a shot. And when you beat me for money and stuff, I went from one hustle to another hustle. Instead of hustling product, I'm hustling work. And there's niggas, and people are shady out here, even with that work. And they're out there predators, and they will rob you, and they'll take your materials, and they'll take your tools, and they'll do all this. This one guy did all of it, all in a very short period of time. Took the money, took the tools, messed up a job, did this, did that. And it got to the point, I was on the rise up. I was going, changing my life to something positive, and wasn't going to play that game, because I feel that sometimes dirty people deserve to get dirty things done to them, right? Because that's just the name. If you're that person, then I'm in a conflict in my life right now that from birth, I was that guy who always made things right with people who just got out of control. I'm coming to see you in the middle of the night. I'm in your bushes. You know what I mean? I'm not even joking. If you come to my town, that's what people will tell you about me. And here I am trying to be something that I'm not. I've been struggling. I ain't gonna lie, because when people get around me and I know that they're lying, I get violent.
Yeah,
I do. And it's so bad that I feel like a nuclear bomb. So I'm running away from people. I haven't been out of the house in 2 months because everybody that I come in contact with, I want to absolutely shred them to 1,000 pieces because they're full of shit. Excuse my language. They're lying, and it's making me violent. Now, where does that leave you? Here's how I had to define it. I have paid one hell of a price for everything that I have done. I am the biggest critic of myself, and I put myself through one strenuous regimen, and I hold myself to a very high level of accountability. When I get in the presence of somebody who is not like me, and who prides himself on being not like me and wants to brag about how they ain't dumb like me and chasing after something like me that you can't see, touch, or feel. It makes me very volatile. And like, as a matter of fact, it's like your arms are too short to box with God is this word that, and this was a show, this was a play from back in the 80s, I believe. Your arms are too short to box with God. You know, why wouldn't the Lord have a pair of mitts to put on somebody who I'm just
He does.
George Foreman used to say the Lord brought him out of retirement to come make some more, didn't he?
Yeah, I see that.
What do you say? What do you say?
George Foreman used to say that the Lord brought him out of retirement to come and put these things on somebody to make some more
Right.
money for his kids.
He
I'm not
did.
even joking. He did.
He got 13 kids.
And he would say that the Lord told me to come
That's
use these, and he would go
right.
and he would make money from the 13 kids. And then they came in the Foreman grill. He didn't have to fight no more.
No.
I'm, but to get back to it, I exercise my one more day. I tell myself, I'm just going to wait one more day. I procrastinate. I could do it on a normal basis when I was drinking and doing all the other stuff. Now I'm doing it on a sober term. I'm procrastinating for the right reasons. If I don't have the answer, I just prolong my decision. You know what I mean? Or making any, if I don't have the right choices, I just prolong it, put it off. Because what'll happen is when you run out of time, it'll put you into a situation anyways, or something's going to happen. Well, this young fella who was a second guy who wind up uh, beating me for money. And these are entitled white gentlemen. I'm going to tell you, they're union guys, and I'm not a union guy. So all off the rip, they
It's a
they
hustle.
they
They
took
do this
me.
regular.
They do this because they can. They're
Yeah.
entitled. Their
Right.
entitlement. And then me, I go through the system, and I say to people, I go through the chain. Hey, your boy did such and such to me. So recently, I found out that the biggest thing about Rev is that Rev goes everywhere and meets everybody. I will go in the room with anybody. I'll listen to their music. I'll listen to what they got to say. I'll have conversation with them about their position and their views, and then I'll present myself. And it didn't come overnight. Some people say you stink, man. Black people, why do all black people stink? You got to be able to sit in a room without wanting to kill everybody over the conversations that you're going to have. That's one thing I got to say. But this kid,
He asked you that.
what the people ask me that. Oh yeah, absolutely. Listen, I said it a few shows back. You get around, get in a room with these white boys, man, so you can understand what it's about. Because they're gonna, if they invite you in, first off, they don't invite everybody in. There had to be something about them that about you that wanted to engage with you. And then when you get to that place, it's a little push back and forth, a little, there's going to be some stuff that's on the fringe. Like they're going to test the waters to see what they can and can't do. But what I always said was, people were like, why would I want to do that? Because in the process of existing with them, I'm getting that privilege. I'm existing inside of a bubble that I'm moving through a gray area. Nobody's messing with me, and I'm getting to see how they roll, what circles they do, what they do, how they do it, where they do it, and then when they're not around, I can come and do it on my own. They see me with them people, so they're like, "Oh, that's their dude." See, I latch on to people who go to places that I can't normally go without them, right? And then when they're gone, I'm a familiar face. And now, see, that's the thing about me hustling. I couldn't make it where all the other boys was, and I'm not gonna be that dude sitting on the stoop with everybody waiting to fight for that one sale for $5. So for me, I like to go to clubs. I like to dance. So I went to the club, and I didn't have no entourage. I didn't need no entourage. So I'm going to places and meeting people that are like, yeah, you're a cool, pretty cool dude. We're having a party. Come over. And then that's where you sit back. You don't know what's going on. You just sit back and observe things. Observation is probably one of the biggest things. I sat back like I didn't speak English for most of the time, just took notice of what was going on and adapted my portions of things from different people growing up. Because I mean, I didn't really have, I mean, at sixth grade, I was skipping school sixth grade. I was fascinated with people and what they were doing. So for me, and then there were some things that I didn't like about people, some things that I knew off the back that they were bad about people. I could see bad in people. and knew that I didn't want to be around them. Which brings me to a thing about all people. I don't care who you are, what you've been through. At some point in your life, you had a gift where you had insight about a situation and things. And it wasn't until you blamed the Lord for something that the Lord wasn't responsible for that you lost it.
Yo,
What?
What you're gonna say
no, that's pivotal. That's pivotal.
that's when it goes away. When you blame the Lord, and if you really are honest, and this is the home run right here. Everybody has the Lord when they're born. I don't care what you say. You're not just coming out the womb like they're like a baby that sits and entertains itself when nobody's around. Is with someone. I don't care what nobody says. That baby's being entertained by someone. When you get old enough to know that you want to go in a different direction, that's where the problem is. When you get old enough where you realize that your brain is teaching you, giving you choices. See, the brain, in my opinion, also is the biggest problem that we have. And then you put some drug with it, and then stimulation is all that the brain wants. And the drug is at the core of a drug is stimulation. You can't do nothing other than that. And then let a kid be on some of the medication that they got like that Adderall. Let me tell you something. Adderall and these kids videos that you were talking about that flash the ding dongs or whatever, this stuff with that medication becomes a problem for that kid. And I'm speaking, um, I'm keeping it. I'm like going to speak about myself. I found my dad's weed when I was a kid, and I found my dad's Penthouse magazine when I was a kid. And from the moment that I found the two of them, it had my attention, undivided attention. Mm-hmm. There was nothing else that was more important in my life, because even just at the sight of it, I had no idea what it was, but I knew it had my attention. There is something inside of us from the moment that we see it that knows exactly what it is, and I don't know how that is. Mm-hmm. And it's really it's telling, because kids are getting it. I mean, if they're 6, 7 years old, I remember my son saying, "Dad, I seen something really bad, and I liked it." That's what my son said the first time he seen some porn, right. And I was like, but he was honest about it. So, like, I've been, I told you, Chad, I'm making some stuff to try to compete with the stuff that's out there with pulling kids in the wrong direction. And it's on the border of being able to keep their attention. You got to have some curves and stuff like that to have their attention to pull them in a direction. But how are you showing the curves is the thing. Yeah. Showing what attractive and sexy and this, we need to redefine it, because I don't think that there's anybody out there that really knows the way that, if I use an example, who would you use an example of what is a sexy, attractive, tasteful look from 80s, 90s? DSM. That's it. That's this one right here. Everybody needs to understand that their damn brain is their biggest problem. And then you put a drug with it. You might.
So we got like a minute left. In case we get pulled, we want to thank Lady J, Dr. J, for allowing us on this platform. I want to thank Jamal for coming. I want to thank William for coming, Rev for coming. And I want to thank you for coming as well. 443-297-4753. Dr. J is back there in the background. If you got some things going on with you mentally, spiritually, give this young lady a call. She can help you, guide you, and point you in the right direction as well. At the same time, you can always call that number in case you have a live comment. Jamal, go ahead and take it up. Take the floor. Yeah.
This book is one book that psychiatrists in the VA in the United States use. So if people could go online or whatever, and go to the library, and they can read about their mental health conditions. It's got thousands of mental health conditions in this book. We can't self-diagnose ourselves. So a lot of it comes from childhood. We develop from a baby to 5 years old. So they say at 5 years old, who are you? Who you are. They say that's what they say. Mm. What I learned from this, this is the big abyss. The mental health is a big abyss. It's no fix for that. I don't think it's a fix for mental. I mean, this is just one book. You read this much, you like what the, and everything is attached to mostly depression.
Yeah.
Like the empath, what you call it? It's pronounced the show. What is it called?
Empathic perspectives, pathway to change.
In here,
Yeah.
this whole manual. So you got people that are kleptomaniacs. They just can't stop stealing.
Mm-hmm.
So, like
You
we
ready
said,
for this? Here's the realest thing I could say, man. And in prison doesn't do it unless you're in solitary confinement. Go sit somewhere with yourself. I've
right,
been out of the house 2 times in the last 30 days. I had that fella, he hung himself. He reached out to me. I didn't want to respond to that, but I didn't want to respond to him. As a matter of fact, he even built his own coffin. And I said something to the extent about how that's one less expense his mother will have to have for his useless. I'm real vicious with it. When you're on your last leg and I know that you can't get back up, man, and you just let me down, and I know that that's the end. I'm the guy who's pushing you down, and it's terrible, man. I had to be honest. Like it feels good that somebody's getting what they got coming, but I'll tell you, it feels terrible when you're in putting your energy into pushing that person down while they're going down. And that I
Right.
struggle with that. But that's why I said, like, he put me in position. I worked very hard for my reputation, and he put that in jeopardy. And I represent hard. You got when you work really hard to overcome
Yeah. Okay.
forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Forgiveness is the biggest thing. I had to forgive myself for all the terrible things I did while I was drinking and doing drugs, right? The one reality that I found out in the last 30 days is in the last 90 days that not everybody's going to forgive you for the
No,
things that you did.
I don't care. I don't care. As long as my start of the street is clean, do what you do.
So don't look for that to be an excuse. They won't forgive me for that. Don't look for it because there's some people they ain't never going to give it to you because that's a victory for you and they're never going to let you have that. So just prepare yourself for the fact that you're not going to get forgiven by everybody. But the one thing about it is it becomes a game. You go, you have your closure, and it's getting rid of something that you don't need to carry around. And then the Lord will replace it with something else, and usually it's something that has to do with like your childhood, that when you got upset with the Lord over bad decisions that you made and you felt that the Lord should have not punished you for that. But the Lord doesn't punish you for anything. The Lord does is just try to guide your path. And when you take it too far of a day or off of the path, you can't see the light of the Lord. You know what I mean? So it's like you find your way back. My music makes more sense to me more and more every day. So, but I know that one thing that is for sure, we got to get ourselves under control. What I wanted to say is that there's no more the opioids are gone. Now there's some new tranquilizer.
yes.
If your drug habit is really sincere,
You
then
see
you're
the
going to start losing
video?
body parts. You're going to start losing body parts. Yes,
Did
they're
you see
not
the
playing
video?
games.
Did you
They're
see the
not playing
video?
games with it.
Chad, you don't have social media. They have a video out that
You
came out.
better get yourself
I was
together.
like, what the
You
heck?
better get yourself
Real?
together. They got something for you. You're going to start looking real silly. You are going to start looking real silly. I mean, stop. You got to find some kind of peace of mind in
You see
yourself
what she
because,
said? You're only responsible for your healing. Forgiveness is an inside job. Release and work on you. That's what
yeah,
she said.
release. Listen, the first thing you got to do is get rid of your entourage and get rid of
And
people
that's
around you.
Lady J saying that right there.
They are never going to let you go. They're never going to let you get around. Why would anybody want you to be in a better place than them if they're not able to
Why
rise
not?
above?
Why wouldn't we want that for each other? Come on, now we can
Right.
want that for each other. Come on, man. We come
You
on,
can them people that
come on,
always
man.
gotta tangle people up in their situation. Like Chad said, every time you call, the building's on fire, and then they call it. They got 3 people on a 3-way, and everybody's house is on fire. That's a
So you
20
saying we
alarm.
live in the Willie Lynch for real? We're doing the Willie Lynch instead of
Listen,
other people doing the Willie Lynch.
we got to get our houses under control. Like
They're saying
seriously.
yes.
Oh
I,
no, involuntarily. A lot of people are doing Willie Lynch, and they don't even know it, man.
right.
Just they just they. So for example, if I go in with you on a bundle of something that's going to get us through the week and that's going to short my groceries, I'm going to need you to throw me a couple bucks. This is how dysfunctional we are as a community, that we're relying on each other to cover what our get high money is. So I need that money for electricity, but yo, I'm gonna have to hold 30 from you, boost me. We're like, but it's the wrong people, you know what I mean? But if we just take away the extracurricular, like this is the first thing I did. I took away the alcohol, tobacco, firearms, ATF, and already my problem was solved. Like I had $500 right off the bat a month, just off of that alone. I'm not even joking. And see, the reality is if you just start sitting down with the things, like if you want to know why you're miserable and why life is this and why you're mad at people, just sit down and put all your financials, how much money you make and how much money if you got a bank account, look at how much money came in and how much money came out, and that'll give you an answer as to why you are in the state of mind that you're in. And then what your planning has been to get to that place. If you didn't have no planning, then if you're breaking even at zero, then you should be like, all right, I'm just here. But like I could do better. It's up to me to do what. And if I'm just here, that's fine. I'm not up and I'm not down. I'm not wanting. I'm not needing. But then you can throttle your life based upon what you want. That's where I'm at. I'm just here.
Nobody can't measure nobody else's self-worth. If I bake 10 cakes tomorrow, 10 different kinds, that's my self-worth. We too busy worrying about people measuring our goddamn self-worth.
Out of respect, Dr. J, just give us the notice when you're ready for us to shut down, because I'm sure all of us got something to say, but we want to respect your time as well, because we know that you're a busy person. Maybe this is good. Maybe, you're ready to chill. So just let us know. Give us a note when we're supposed to shut down. Okay.
Hey, measure
What up,
Chad's self-worth.
You got people paying money to go to a Beyonce concert and have made a decision that they'll figure out how to pay bills later. Priorities all screwed up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And guaranteed that they're asking their friend, I'm going to need to hold a couple bucks from you in advance. Like on the 25th, I got that concert. I've been waiting for 10 years for that. I'm going to have to hold out on the food bill. Kids, anytime I found that Jamal told the story about my son. So Jamal knew that my son, and in my paperwork, my son is the first thing that it talks about in my psychological evaluation. If you don't have something that you put above yourself, you're in trouble.
Sin. I'm sorry. Let's look at the cost of sin, because they just thank you for the comment. Somebody just brought up Beyonce tickets. From what I understand, Beyonce tickets is like $2,500 or something crazy like that. I don't think they are no like $200-$300 tickets. I don't know.
She was in Dubai. A prince gave her $24 million to perform for an hour and a half. Why is she coming back stateside if he didn't give you $20 million, $20-something million? You ain't paying no taxes on that money. Then you jacking up for the price tickets and the economic after
COVID, this sickness.
Let me get a hit. Those two idiots, her and Jay-Z, how much more money do y'all need? You charging people $1,500 for tickets to hear what?
So I was just about to say,
what happened to the common man and the common woman? Man, nobody got no respect for that. That man gave her $24 million to sing for an hour and a half in Dubai.
Right. Yeah.
So how much more money does she need?
I was just about to say, I was leading into the fact that if we look at it in a broad scope, sin is very expensive. Sin is expensive. Right. Stuff that will kill us, the devices that will ruin us, they cost a lot of money. And the Bible will explain, if you don't know it, that the love of money is the root of evil. Not money is evil. When you love money, it leads to ruin. Okay? So anytime you're in a situation where you're going to sit there and forego your mortgage or rent, or you're going to sit there and max out a credit card just to go hear something that you can hear on the radio, you're idol worshiping. And they know they got you because you're not paying attention to God. Because if you were paying attention to God, you most likely wouldn't listen to most of the music you listen to because it's so anti-God. I like Corey Holcomb's show, but his overall message is like, 1 minute you're there, I'd rather you hot or cold. Since you're not hot or cold, I spew you from my mouth, saith the Lord. That's a passage in the Bible. Either you with God or you not. But if you're in the middle, I just spit you out, right? And that's how a lot of things are going these days. It's like, I'm going back to this forgiveness component. You got to let stuff go. It's stress will kill you. I scream, I hoot, I holler, but I don't take no high blood pressure pills. You understand? Stress will kill you. Instead of going and beating up your girlfriend, go to the track. You've been talking about going to the track for 100 years. Go to the track. Start walking first. Get that testosterone out of your body. Go play some basketball, even if you shoot like I shoot. Go in there and just jump around or something and get that testosterone out your body, because the more you get that out, the less you are to act on your emotions and feelings. And now you need to be forgiven more. And the freedom of Christianity for me and Jesus is not that I can just go out and sin freely and be forgiven freely. It's that I turn away from it. Not try to convince somebody else what I'm doing is okay. Wake Up Online Radio. Wake Up Baltimore Online Radio. Tickets are from $339 to $26,679 on Ticket Center. Oh, wow. Okay.
For Beyonce
This is straight idol worship. It's straight idol worship. It's straight idol worship. Even the imagery, as you learn more about God, the imagery and all that stuff surrounding that scenario, and this is predicted in the Bible as well. Towards the last days, those that are God's enemies, they just going to be flagrant with it. They don't care what you think anymore. And we don't want to believe that people in that position would actually be out in churches straight up deceiving people, knowing they don't mess with God.
You said it
knowing they don't mess with God.
$29,000?
$26,000. So you can go ahead and get your Peter Pop-Off water if you want to. But that's crazy. I'm going to tell you right now, that's crazy. You can go ahead and order for the special prayer cloth. That's crazy. Those are idols. Those are idols, but you don't read, so you don't know it, right? I just saw another dude that had a beard on and somebody that looked like he could talk well, and he sat there when he was selling some juju oil. They didn't reduce God to a snake oil salesman and stuff like that. When that's just something that you can do personally from within. So how do I learn how to forgive somebody? Somebody hurt me so bad. How do I possibly forgive them? You realize that your butthole stinks too. You realize that you are not innocent.
Take the worst thing you ever done and put it up against what somebody's done to you. That's what I've done.
If you're not a narcissist and you're strong enough to really look at yourself and say, I am no better than that individual that raped me. I am no better than that individual that shot me. I am no better than that individual that gave me that first hit of dope. I am no better than that person that sat there and kidnapped me.
Hey, Brother Chad, what sport do two flags come out and both flags are picked up and you're replaying? I mean, it's sometimes it's really terrible comparison, and they don't seem fair that one flag wipes out the other flag. But football teaches us that two flags come out. One flag wipes out another flag, but the penalties are not on the same level, but they negate each other, right? Take the games that we play in life, right? Everyone, soccer, football, rugby, hockey. There is an analogy that transfers into life where we play by these rules and we're not even on the field or on the ice or on the court, but we know the rules and we play by them rules and we're calling them rules, and we get upset when the rules are broken on the TV like we're the ones there. So look, we're programmed all across the board for them games, but this is a way we got to use that programming to our benefit. So we got to use the analogies that helps our brain to override our brain. Two penalties, flags thrown out, one by one judge, one by another judge. It's all setting penalties, replayed it down. You have to get yourself into this place where somebody did something to me. I did this. All right, you know what? I'm going to call that a wipe. And I'm going to just go forward from here. You got to figure out a way to get past yourself. That's the biggest thing. That's it.
Incredible analogy. You hit it dead on, man.
Gentlemen, I forgot that I have to be with Mr. Derek Holston for a session, and it's at 9:30.
Okay, I was supposed to be there yesterday, this morning. But
hey,
Jahari kept me up all night. Van, I'm sorry I missed the show. I was out.
I need some memory loss, man. You ain't memory loss medication over there.
Oh, yeah.
If you find some, let me have some, all right? Because I could use a little bit.
I gotta take this session.
It's called sleep.
You said you had a session with him too?
I was supposed to have one yesterday as well as today. Jahari, he wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, and I can't just leave him on his own devices. So I'm up with him trying to sleep on an air mattress. It didn't work out too well for me this morning. Yeah. Forgiveness. Look, I've heard some things. You know, Ma did some horrible, crusty things back then. Dad did some horrible, crusty things back then. Okay, my advice would be to get with God. All right, Jamal, thank you, and go ahead, handle your business. I appreciate you coming.
William, could you send me your paperwork? I got you. Ted, could you talk to him, please?
You already know.
I got you.
He already know. You know.
We gonna pray for Lady J to get better.
Get better.
Mm-hmm. Can't have Baltimore. You can't have Baltimore without Lady J. How we gonna do that? That's like having
high energy. Got the energy up.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Peace. So, thank you for allowing us this extra time, but we're still gonna shut it down in a couple of minutes, Dr. J. So, forgiveness for me is recognizing I'm no better than that individual. Even though certain things that have been done to me, I would never do to somebody else. So it makes me feel good to be able to hang that over top of somebody's head that I'm supposed to be better. But at the same time, I lied, cheated, stole, and everything else. I murdered in my mind. I seen stuff I wasn't supposed to see, went places I wasn't supposed to go. It comes to a point where you just got to stop. We're not going to be perfect, but if you're doing something that's a flagrant foul, Rev 7. When you're doing a flagrant foul, they eject you out the park. You know you're wrong. Don't try to convince nobody about nothing. It's written right in the. See this section right here? See this line right there? What the fuck are you talking about? You want me to go with you? Okay? God forgive me for cursing, but it's like
that simple.
It's that simple. But we're told in the last days, the very elect will be fooled over some pride shit. It's my pussy. I can do what I want. Yes, but is it going to benefit you in the long run?
When they release that thing that turns it inside out and make it look like a cantaloupe that just got ran over by a couple trucks, maybe you might want to keep it inside your Tupperware then. Because if I know, like I know, life is filled with a whole bunch of horrors coming up. And just the fact that if you inject something into your arm that you think is going to get you high, your arm could fall off. Like that's when you know that your time is up. You really, there's no place for you. And they're gonna just keep on giving you, and the people who are serving it have no choice but to serve it because they're at the discretion of whoever it is that tells them to go out there and make that money. And if you're all of them people and you're looking for an out, you better go find yourself some local 401 trade, like a union, labor union or something, because that's where you can get started. They identify people. Get away from them guys, because I'm telling you that there is something that the street sweepers come to clean that up. Right. And harvest people, man, you're either going to be a lab test rat or you're either going to be incarcerated slave worker. The choices are going to be very, very slim. Yeah. Fast food working ain't going to be an option no more because they just made automated machines that taking that job and they training you how to use the machine. Once you know how to use the machine, they'll take the people out of the back. So this automation, listen, jobs are going to be very scarce, money scarce, food scarce. They killed 1.5 million cattle, 2.2 million chicken during COVID time. And now look at the price of chicken, look at the price of beef. This shit has
and I didn't even see that cow sneeze. I'm sorry.
Yeah, listen, didn't sneeze. Said that they'd had nobody to take care of them because of COVID. Okay, now the price of the food is so high, and they wiped out a period of time that it would replenish that many, by design. And now we know that the WHO was responsible and people knew. So this brings me to the last closing thing that I'm saying is that this is all pre-scripted stuff.
Yeah.
That they can do whatever they want because we can't get out of our own way. We are so busy sensationalize ourselves that we care less about the hardships of anybody else in the world. And if you can't sit like me, who made a horrible statement about somebody, about how that's one less expense and now that person's dead. And I'm telling you, he was somebody else went as far as to go on his Facebook and talked about how he was a stand-up guy, meaning that he stood up everybody. He never, and that's how disrespectful they were to him. And I didn't do something like that, but it was no different. And you know, did it make me feel good? No. Did I feel like I got my digs in on them? Yes. But, you know, at the end of the day, that made me step back because here I feel like I'm doing something really good overall in the grand scheme of things that lets me know I still have a little bit of foulness in me that like, you know, I had to go fall back and just go deep inside of myself. And, you know, when I did that, no music, I sat with myself, no TV. I didn't touch no electronics. I didn't eat, and bringing up the fasting to make yourself long for something and deprive yourself from it. Don't give yourself the stimulation of a electronic or something to stimulate your visual and audio needs. I deprived myself from all that to listen to myself, and you should hear what I heard in myself, like, you know, about me not doing this and not doing that. But at the same time, I'm going to the VA every day and I'm sleeping, I'm getting my rest, and I'm healing myself. I'm healing myself. This is the best part about it. When you go into yourself and you deprive yourself, the Lord, if you really focus on the positive, try to find the positive in it, the Lord will just become more apparent during that time than anything that you can't deny it. Like, I mean, like for a brief moment, you'll know when the phone rings who's calling, or you'll know how you'll look at a number and you'll guess that number. The Lord does little things like that just to let you know, look, if you could have this every day, if you just did it this way every day, you get to see these little things, right? But you just have to have the aptitude and attention span to last long enough, and the dedication and truth more than anything. Just be truthful about yourself. Accept that you're a piece of crap.
Yeah.
And call yourself a piece of crap, especially if you dump some chick after you got through like getting her pregnant. Like, I'm gonna say some of the things how guys don't think that this is something that holds them accountable.
Killing you. That's why your ass is absent. It's killing you.
You impregnated a person and walked away like you had no,
like you ain't gonna have no repercussions for this shit.
That's a universal. That is a universal act. You just violated a universal law. Like, you were supposed to take care of what you created. I don't care what nobody says. You can't make no baby and walk away from it and have some great life. And maybe you do, but when you leave this place, it's got to be horrific. I don't care what nobody says. So right there, from giddy up, you should be already afraid if you make a life and you don't take care of it. That's why I went hard for my son, because I didn't want him to be damaged by what he may have thought or what somebody might have told him about me. I had to represent myself, and you should do that. And if you haven't had any good role models, then become the role model. And how do you do that? To just be different than everybody else. If you got to wear your clothes backwards, if you got to put your shoes on the wrong feet, if you got to get a grill that's a different color than anybody would ever imagine that you would get one, or anybody do something different than what everybody else does, and everybody will get away from you. Because you're going to be different. I can tell you right now, I can't attract no attention to hang out with me if I paid people $10 an hour just to stand next to me, you know?
Look, look. Unless dude jumped on top of you and took it and you got pregnant, stop blaming him. Unless he jumped on you and took it, which means you probably called 911. I don't want to hear about how bad black men are, or gray men are, or green men are, or orange men are. Here's the lexicon, and I'm right there with you. I always had the choice to read the manual and wait till I got married and avoid all that. No, that didn't make sense. I'm going to put on a shoestring and go to the club and think I'm going to figure man out of that club or whatever place you go to, Walmart, I don't care what, $1 million restaurant, you're still doing it the goofy way. You understand? I got to be forgiven for not, Lord, I should have listened to you. I should have did this. I should have listened to you. Not Bill, Frank, Bobo, and Ray Ray. It's you and God. If I didn't deal with these people, if I'd have listened to what you said from the beginning, I wouldn't have done none of that other stuff. If I would have listened to somebody, if somebody was telling you, because there's certain people that don't know, but as you learn, as you know, now you're responsible for what you know. And I would educate anybody to change. I'm doing it myself. I'm not talking about losing weight. I'm losing weight. You understand? I'm not talking about sleeping better. I'm sleeping better. It didn't all
Leading by
happen over
example.
one night. Right.
Leading by example.
Well, with the young lion on here, he's reminding me of stuff that my soul and sat there and tried to push away because I wanted to do my dirt and justify it. But when God is right in your face, now I'm listening to Pastor Jenkins, Charlie Jenkins, it's right in your face. So I gotta keep that in my ear instead of what I like to listen to. Because what I like to listen to, I'm gonna be on here like, damn, man, I don't know how that happened. You know, the next thing, and I'm tired of that. So look, you could have listened to God, but it felt good to get with all of them girls. And because you don't know what being a man is, because you don't read the word of God, being a man to you is busting a bunch of nuts and having a bunch of kids that you don't even care for. So people that are on your same education level can sit there and say, yeah, that George is one heck of a guy. You know, I can't keep them buffaloes off me. It's now you got a bunch of kids you putting into the game that you damaging. In the meanwhile, we beating up on black women like it's solely their fault of what happened when you could have took your little pimp mobile and just went home. But because they making it, especially right now, hey, I ain't trying to lose no friends, but let's call it like it is, right? Especially like now when women pride themselves on being able to do everything men can do, and y'all just like this, yeah, buddy, yes, you can. Yes, girl, you powerful. Take it off. Take it off. Yeah, girl, you're just as equal as me. Take it off. Y'all don't you don't get it. See, if we wasn't caught up on that pride stuff about who's wearing the pants and listening to God, then we not 60 years old divorcing, thinking you're going to run your ass back out there in 5 minutes and find Frank Sinatra. That's not happening. That's not happening. If we stayed centered on God, what are we asking forgiveness for? Not listening from the beginning. And now you're in a jail cell. Now you're sitting there with this little 2-month-old that won't stop crying and you don't know what you're doing. And you either treat that child barbarically. You treat that child barbarically. Or you recognize this and you start praying to God to help change. It's not over. I don't care how many kids you got. I don't care how many murder charges you got. I don't care how many women you sat there and did some dirt to. Okay? All I can tell you from what my experience is, and I ain't never died and came back, but I can read enough to understand that it's more to this than just some words that make people feel good and jump up and throw $20 in the collection plate. It's much deeper than that. And I say this out of love because I'm a filthy rag too. So before you sit there and start throwing hammers, well, you did this. Yo, my public record is out there. You can read it all if I ain't told you all of it anyway. You feel me? Because I wasn't killed before I could start helping myself change to not have that house on fire, Rev. Every time you talk to somebody, it's something else that happened, something else went bad.
Afraid to wake up, afraid to wake. My life used to be like that, but I knew that it was coming because I knew how many times I was avoiding what it was that I shouldn't have been avoiding, how many things I was putting off, how many times I was borrowing money from somebody that I hadn't even made the money. Like, I'm talking from experience when I say the things that I say on this show. I'm speaking because these are the things that I had to overcome for myself. When I tell you that I was the most severe case of everything that there could be, because I always felt that there was a gray area to everything. So I wanted to exploit everything to the fullest. And that got entangling. that entangled me, and it really made me morally conflicted because on one hand you could do one thing, but on the other hand it's wrong, and that's where it's too much work to rationalize what's right. So when in that place, you just put yourself in a place where you start taking what it is that like you don't really need in yourself for yourself. And at anything that you've ever said to yourself that if I make it past this tonight, I'm never doing this again. If that could be hanging with somebody who is a bad influence that you say, man, if we make it through this, I swear I ain't never hang with this
Not
person.
doing this. Yeah.
You know what I mean? If this life really about figuring yourself is really this simple. If you've said it out of your mouth and you know that you were sincere about it, and then you got delivered from it and you reneged doing it, I call it renegerism. If you practice renegerism and you took your ass back on your word, then
Backslide.
own it, own it, and be truthful, and
Thank you.
go and fix your wrongs in yourself. Do that. And see, there's an initiation for everything. There's an initiation for gangs. There's an initiation for police departments. There's an initiation for military. There's an initiation to roll with the Lord. And the only
Yeah.
thing that there is that you got to do for initiation is to be truthful, to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you. God will help you through it, because every time that you get past one simple difficult lie that you just all you got to do is own it, the Lord will make you have a feeling that makes you feel happy and sad and joyful and remorseful and all these different emotions all at the same time, that lets you know that this can't be nothing but something that I don't understand, because how can all those emotions be taking place at once? That's what, if a drug is what was the most powerful thing for me, if the Lord gave me a feeling that's more powerful than a drug and a drug can't never replace it, then that's what I leave you with. That's why it's not even possible for me to even imagine going back to that high from that subpar drug, because the high that I get from the Lord, knowing what my day is going to be like, knowing who my enemies are, knowing how the Lord is working on my enemies and how the Lord is making a path that just takes me totally out of their line of vision, like they'll never see me again type of situation. See, like Chad said, you can have a hammer, you just don't even need one because the Lord already worked that out.
Yeah.
You don't need, like, that's where I'm at. I don't need to have a sword because I'm
Right.
never going to be in a battle.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I'm
Because
protected.
I'm protected. The
Right.
Lord has a plan for me. So the Lord's plan usually involves being in a place that you don't have to look over your shoulder. And if you are in a place where you have to look over your shoulder, the Lord has somebody there for you too. You just got to be looking for the person that don't belong there at the time that you really need to see somebody that don't belong there. Now you think about what I just said. If you're in this place where you really don't want to be there and you are just really know that it's only a matter of time before something happens. I give an example of uh just riding with people that you know that the house is going to collapse at any time, that there's people coming behind you and you're coming behind them and you're rolling with them, so it's a one size fits all and you know it, but you can't say no, and you're misery enjoys company. So when
Right.
company gets what company gets, company, everybody's laying on the pavement.
Right.
And that's stressful. But when you see in the middle of something like that, something that talks to you in a way that you weren't anticipating and gives you the answer how to take your next step from there, or how to get away from what you're in, if you ignore it, then you're shame on you. You want to be there, or you're just afraid to take a step, and then you're going to have to witness something that's going to put you in a situation that the next time that you find you're in that situation, you're not going to say no, but you're going to have to go through something to understand that when the opportunity comes, don't say no next time. And that's life revolving every year, the same thing over and over in Groundhog Day. We sit and watch it, we go through the same thing year after year. It seems like almost scripted sometimes,
It
and we
is.
have the
It
we
is.
have the opportunity to make a different decision. It's like put all the pieces in place and you go to a different level. If you get all the pieces in place, you get to go to the next level. If not, you
Right.
go back around, dummy, till you get it right, dummy.
Yeah. So it's God gives us grace. Grace is me waking up in the morning with another opportunity to hopefully kick in the butt something that I was allowing to be a stronghold the day before. If I clean myself up enough, then the Holy Spirit helps me. The Holy Spirit has always helped me. So I'm saying this wrong. Don't shoot me. But the Holy Spirit is always there, because even when I was resistant, like Rev said, it's instances where I'm supposed to not be here, but God intervened. The gun jam, okay? The car just, what we consider miracles. I've seen them. I've lived through them. I'm not supposed to be sitting here now. I'm not guessing. I know. You feel me? So those things, when you decide to go ahead and give yourself more to Christ, to God, right? A lot of those obstacles that used to mess with you, they stop. When the devil realizes he can't get to you, he gonna keep trying to send something else to try to trick you or get you back into his side of the game. But you start to you get, it's just like soccer or baseball or math or anything. The more you learn, the more you're educated into it, the more you recognize stuff that's coming. I went to Security Mall last week for the first time in, who knows, 6-7 months. I don't go up there very often, right? As soon as I park the car, while I'm parking the car, who's walking in but some sisters and brothers, or some sisters I love. So I no longer say, man, this sure is lucky to see them. I was supposed to be there to see them. And little things like that will keep happening, and they're not really little things at all. But instead of bumping into somebody I don't want to see, laws of attraction, I'll bump into somebody I love. And it happens so consistently, it's more to it than what meets the eye. Jesus' thing is faith. You have to believe. I'm not going to show you myself because you don't have to believe anymore. Hey, Chad, how you doing? I'm right here. I don't have to believe anymore. And we screwed that up Old Testament. When God was riding with the people, when God was on the planet, we screwed that up. When he was riding on the cloud, we screwed that up. When he came through prophets, we killed him. When he came down here himself, we killed him. You understand? We killed him. So we have to be forgiven for putting Jesus to death. For why? Because he died for my sins. I'm not perfect. I would like to be, because that's less stuff that happened then. I don't know how to put it into words, but it's a recognition of what the benefits are. That was what I was supposed to be doing my show tonight, is the benefits of, when you profess Christ and what do you get out the deal? What do you get out the deal? I mean, why am I going through this? Why am I believing somebody I don't see? And we've been telling you since the show, when I forgive somebody, I get a blessing for it. You understand? I don't do it just to get the blessing, but the blessing comes anyway. For one, the blessing is that weight, guilt, anger, hostility is no longer in my life. Now I can interact with my kids better. I can interact with you better. It's the same thing as growing up in the hood with the horrible parents and no food. They angry, mad, don't realize they got some of you do. Some of you scared. I was scared. I didn't want to be a God punk. You understand? I didn't want to be them people hiding behind Christ. That's not my nature. You feel me? My nature is bulldog or something like that. But the benefits outweigh what me worrying about what you think about my past. Because you got a past. You feel me? And I got to forgive your past like you forgive my past, so that we can all get past. If that makes any sense. But I appreciate you coming through here, Rev.
Thanks always for having me, man. Thank you.
Anything else on your mind you'd like to share?
No, I just, listen, man, things are getting ready to get really tight, and we just got to get ourselves really tight. The price of stuff is going up. We have to start to taper back on what our needs are. I mean,
Right.
It's almost like the perfect storm. They gave us an overabundance of money and we could splurge. And right after that, we go into a depression, regression, and recession of all those things, even a recession in products. Like there's things not on the shelf. We went from having everything to nothing. That is a mental head job for you, and it's designed to make you crazy. Like at the core, like you can't find comfort when you can't just get the simplest thing off your shelf. Right. So your day is designed to be bad from the door. And there's no reason why it shouldn't be on the shelf. But why is it not on the shelf? Because it's all by design. Just know that you guys are in the game. The game is playing the hell out of us all. And you guys just turn the game off. Turn
Yeah.
it off for like 20 minutes a day. No devices, no nothing. Just sit and listen to yourself over and over every day until you figure out what you should keep and what you shouldn't. And that's the best way to find your way through yourself, I can say.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So let's take what Rev said and look at a package of oodles of noodles, right? It probably costs, I don't know, but in case you don't, let's say oodles of noodles is sold for $1. It might cost them 5 cents to make the whole product, which means it's 95 cents that's profit and 5 cents that they actually spent to make the product. The product, if you was to sit there and soak oodles of noodles in water overnight, it's flour and water and a whole bunch of other things added to it to give it the shape, blah, 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 a little bit of texture and way too much cholesterol and some salt to give it some flavor, right? As we talked about earlier, the love of money is the root of all evil. They could sell that package of oodles or noodles for 15 cents and still make a hell of a profit. Now apply that same logic to gas, water, houses, clothes, tennis shoes, apply that to carpet, apply that to everything you see around you, and you see the conundrum that is being propagated to us to believe. You see the lie. The car that I bought was worth $50,000. I didn't pay that for it. But the material, the time, and the effort that they put into that car that's been around for maybe 70, 80, 90 years at the time, they could have probably sold me the same exact car for $10,000 and still made a profit. But the monster is this system that we call governance in all countries that loves money to the point where they've put all the food, the male seeds to food in one place so that we don't have access to it. They've put all the places that we go commonly to shop for groceries in one place so that they have more access and more control over it so that when they want to pull these switches, you don't know how to go in the backyard and just start growing corn. In your mind, it might be, well, if I sit there and grow 6, 8, 9, whatever ears of corn, what's that going to make? I can eat that. It's going to take me 6 months to eat it, and it doesn't work like that. You feel me? But these types of things through modernization are being taken away from us, our basic instincts to do certain things to the point where young males don't even want to do anything right now. You know, just tragically lazy to the point where y'all couldn't handle some of the jobs I had, and I can't handle some of the jobs my generations before me had. So let's hit this nail on the head before we close up tonight. And thank you, Dr. J. The problem with the African-American community in America is we have pulled away from God. We have pulled away from God. The problem with the African-American community in America before we got to America is we had pulled away from God. In the 50s, the 60s, we were on a come up. People were doing good. Even before then, in the 30s with the Black Wall Street, and there's many other examples. I'm going with the common, easy, low shots, right? It's many examples of where we were raising up. And because we were seeing that we were raising up, the people of God are starting to wake up. All of these devices were put in line to put us in check. Now they're using it on everybody. Color doesn't even matter anymore. This shit worked with the niggas. We're going to do this with everybody. We're going to get them confused over women voting and all these other issues. Not to say that that's not important. Don't get confused with the sexist part. Take your feelings out of it a little bit. Let's change the subject. Instead of women voting, let's say gay rights. Oh, I'm not coming for you either. Let's not get into the sexist aspect of it. What I'm saying by saying it this way is we are being pulled into so many different directions. And now the children are being attacked. The children are being attacked by a gay male couple, and the children are being raped and sodomized by people that are supposed to protect them. Is this an isolated incident? Kiss my black ass. I can read. And because I can read, I know it's going to get progressively worse. God forgive me for saying that. I don't really want nobody to cuts my ass. Matter of fact, I don't even like My wife touching my ass, so forgive me for that one. But the Bible tells me that in the story of Lot in the Old Testament, Sodom and Gomorrah, before it was being destroyed, these two angels came to Lot's house because they were looking for somebody that was worthy to be saved out of this city, because even the elect had been fooled. So it came down to Lot and his family was going to be saved. And even Lot's wife turned around when she wasn't supposed to and burnt up and turned into a pillar of salt immediately for not listening. We got a couple examples of that one in the Bible, right? Male and female, right? Simple instructions can't do it. Can't. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna do it how it's my pussy. I'm gonna do what I want. That shit is not gonna work. It's not working. It's not working. Okay, myself included, right? So these angels go to Lot's house, and the people find him. And I got this from picked this off of Pastor Charles Lee Jenkins' show, as well as this is something I already know. The two angels go to Lot's house. The men in the area desire to have sex with the angels. That they don't know that they're angels, but these two guys just walked into town, and these people are so privileged, they feel like they just going to come out and take it. These are the kind of individuals that will adopt a child and sodomize him, and then pimp him out to other sodomizers. Do you understand? This ain't about feelings. This is about what's happening. I have friends that work with children that are they're basically housed. You could call it an orphanage to some extent. They're not allowed to discipline these kids. They're taught basically how to take them down in case they get out of control. They can't keep them in the house. And we ain't even talking, these ain't even 18. If they can walk away and leave whenever they want to, and they're basically rewarded for bad behavior. This is one small mechanism of a much bigger machine that is going to ensure that morality and civility is going to get worse in this country. And there are thousands of devices, like Jamal mentioned, about how they're subliminally coming at children. Disney been coming subliminally at children forever. If these people were actually persecuted and arrested for the stuff that they're doing, the world would change. But we know that there is a devil that is influencing people to get that money, and they don't care what it does to the population. Some of them know they're in cahoots with the devil. As Pastor Jenkins pointed out, 3 frogs came out of the beast, the dragon, and the false prophet. And they went to get ready for this day of Armageddon. They went to sit there and say, look, if you sit there and put these subliminal messages into kids' programs, they'll be less likely to listen to adults, or we'll be showing them stuff that they don't really need to see. All of this stuff is by design. If you want to understand more about it or see it clearly, read the Bible. I didn't ask you to agree with it or not. I can't convert nobody. You understand? I can disseminate information, and then you can talk to God, and y'all can work that out. You feel me? But I appreciate you rolling with us, rocking with us. I'm not here to hurt nobody's feelings. Okay, I'm a filthy rag, just like somebody that's a liar. I'm a filthy rag, just like somebody that's a murderer. Stop asking me to co-sign your shit. I'm not asking you to co-sign the stuff I do that's wrong. You understand? And the book I read says it's wrong. You can disagree with it, but leave my kid alone. Because now you're going to put me into that category where I got to worry about forgiveness, because I don't know what I'm going to do every second. You feel me? And that's why I identify with you, Rev, is because I can see that in you. You feel me? Because I was there. But you was actually boots on the ground doing it. I was never actually boots on the ground doing it. But I recognize.
It's the greatest thing that I have, is to be able to speak from experience. I learned hard lessons, man. And so for me, I'm just a real dude. Like, when you step in front of me, you can't lie to me, because I know everything. I mean, I'm serious. I know if you're high. I know if you're not. I know it's just when you just dedicate a certain percent of yourself There's 24 hours in the day. That certain percent that you dedicate to yourself, hell or high water every day, the Lord will take up that space. If that's all the space you got for that every day, for that 25%, just see what it's like. It's always going to be the same. I mean, and then it makes you peel away more. You start trying to figure out what you don't want anymore. But if you got something that you don't need, if you drink, smoke, and do drugs, get rid of the drinking or the smoking and just watch what happens. Because when you take away that, as long as you don't fill it with something else that's bad, it's going to be something that's positive, that's going to give you a different kind of stimulation than what was bad, and then you have a little different, there's just like so many different. I'm working on trying to make all this stuff, and that's my burden, to be able to help your brain, to be able to help you have a fight with your brain, and I'm working on it. But it's some stuff coming. But I got next phase coming out, Chad. My brother Chad, I got a song getting ready to put out. I just finished the artwork. So in the next couple of days, it's going to be about the days when you just want to just smash and break everything around you. That's the day that you get on your knees right then and there, right at that very moment. Get on your knees and turn your life over to God, and you watch what happens on a day that you are absolutely nuclear, ready to just blow up. And I made a song where I'm in the middle of blowing up, and it's called The Next Phase. And so I'm going to be putting that out.
Can you imagine like a person that can't swim or been swimming for 6 hours and they going down, and you can see them hands sticking out through the water? You don't see nothing but that hand. That's me right now to my old self. He tried hard. And oh my gosh, if I tell you about some of the stuff that I've seen on the internet recently that I know was targeted directly at me, directly, no question about it. That old man is trying to hold on, but I'm going into that life water, and I'm living forever. I'm not going to let this run me. It's not, the devil can't win.
It's not easy as a chat. It's not easy, but it's worth the hard work. It's worth it.
It's worth it. And then when you see what you've done, and then even though you didn't think you went underneath the water and for good, then you realize you can breathe under here. And you got a whole nother world open up. Now you can go on dry land and the water because you're dead to yourself already.
Yeah.
And that's what it means. Die to what happened to you. Yeah. Die to the rape. Die to the divorce. Die to the car accident. Die to the stabbing. Die to all of that stuff and follow me. And why Chad is not doing it as wonderfully as he possibly could, but we also know that Chad is not supposed to be here. So you don't realize how wonderful Chad is actually doing. Yeah. You feel me?
Dying to live. You got to die. You got to let that part of yourself die so that you can live. Because if you don't, you're just going to carry it around like a torch, a old bag that's just beat up and heavy, and you can't do nothing because it's just all you do is spend your time tucking that bag around.
Right. And you don't really even realize, you're picking up more stuff to fill in the bag. And every once in a while, it's called backsliding. It happens, right? Yeah. Paul will tell you. People in the Bible will tell you, you're not going to do it perfect. Be like, but it's more like, oh, wait a minute. I'm picking that bullshit up again. And throw out, get off me. Yeah. And okay, so next week it will be about, unless something like this happens where we have guests, and I appreciate you so much, that I'm going to talk about what's the payoff. Okay, you tell me believe in somebody I can't see, hear, smell. What's the payoff? The payoff is when you do that, you do start to hear. You do start to see. You do start to realize I didn't jump out that car at Security Mall by accident. Okay, yeah. It's no longer, girl, I got a check in the mail for $5,000. I'm not even concerned with that because my needs are met. I'm not even concerned with that. I'm not going to get the Bentley because God knows I'll go stupid if I get the Bentley. You feel me?
So, the best part, Brother Chad, here's the best part. Yeah. I say that nobody has to believe what I believe. Nobody has to do what I have to do. I have a child who is the example that I'm setting the example for my child. You have your children, you have your wife. When they're all doing the same thing that you're doing, and you have mass produced yourself times 4, times 5, and people look, and when they see one, they see it all is in the same light. That's when people start saying, you know what, there really is something about them. They you can see it. And that's the thing that people say, you know, they talk that talk, but they walking that walk too. That's the thing. You can talk the talk, but people know if you're walking it, and that's it. It's just something in the way that you look. It's something in the way that you talk. It's the way that you carry yourself. I mean, that's the way that you smell. I mean, I don't know, man. Seriously, you know, like the breath analogy. I'm telling you, like there's always something that lets you know, and we're always looking at people. So don't be so critical of people, but at the same time, be critical of people. Yeah. There's certain things, little things give away the biggest clues. It's like, you know. So,
Chad, yeah. I was waiting for you to figure out you wanted shit so I could change you. Can I say it any simpler than that? God forgive me for cursing.
I was
waiting to figure out that it wasn't your dumb ass doing all of that stuff. And when you were sitting there talking all that trash, look, Chad, look, this is how it really went down. When you were talking to that dude and you always get ready to get off, there was an angel behind you. And there was a devil with him. You feel me? And that angel saw that devil and told his ass to go on because he wasn't going to win. You feel me?
That's
Praise
it.
you, Lord. Thank you for forgiving me, irregardless of who I am. And I'm going to get this thing licked. I'm going to get this thing beat. And you're going to watch it. So thank you all for coming. Thank you, Dr. J, for this platform and this opportunity to hopefully help somebody. If you are being helped, hit the like button. It'd be nice to get a donation at the $ Lines Air. And that's another thing. I don't make a dime off this. You feel me? Not a dime. But this needs to get out. You feel me? It's not about the money. My needs are met. But if you can help us, I'm definitely going to be appreciated. And you're definitely going to see it because my headphones had it. But I already got some back over there.
You already got your backups ready to go.
I already got the backups, but yeah, I just got to hook them up. It's lazy.
Yeah, they're still rocking.
Yo, I'm going to see you next week. I'll see y'all next week. And thank you. We love you, and I appreciate your time.
Peace out.
Okay. Peace.
Just wanted to let you know that the host of this show appreciates the time that you've spent with them. Now, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel so you can keep up with everything that we're doing. And most of all, thank you for tuning in to What Up Baltimore online radio, where the people have the power.
Butterfly. I've read that a million times and didn't realize that it said butterfly.
Butterfly.
Butterfly. I keep saying butterfly. That's great.
I had, listen, Budda. I had